everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Chocolate Bros Review Show. You're here with Brian and Adam. Brian was kind enough to host us
I'm hosting.
in his office slash snowboarding man cave. Thank you for having us in here, bro.
Absolutely. This is a place that doesn't get on camera literally ever. If my wife sees this video, I'm going to be in big trouble. But the great news is
Why would you be in trouble with your wife? Because you just see all the snowboarding gear that you spend money on
But
behind her back?
That's right. But there's no chance she'll see it. So that's the good news.
Yeah. She doesn't. She's not interested in
Zero
any of your
interest
content.
in whatsoever in any of our
All
content.
right. Well, now that we've aired out some of the weird tension in your marriage, let's get on with the show. We are the owners of Fortunato Chocolate. Check us out at www.fortunatochocolate.com. We've been in the chocolate business for 16 years.
Yes.
Making delicious chocolate with a rare variety of cacao sourced from the jungle of northern Peru. Brian lived in the jungle for 10 years buying cocoa beans.
I did.
Yes, you did. All right. I wasn't sure if you were going to add on to that.
No,
That's
no.
why I took that pause.
No.
I'm going to keep rolling then.
Yeah, keep rolling. Well, I will just say this. In addition to being an obsessive amateur snowboardist, I'm also a well-trained and very experienced cacao processing professional, chocolate tasting, not professional, and I got paid for it, but a person who's been trained to do it. We have 16 years in the chocolate business, and we know about chocolate and cacao.
And we make 60 products. We're one of the few companies that sources cacao directly from cacao farmers and carries it all the way through
to the consumer,
to final manufacturing and direct sales to customers. We have two retail shops in Issaquah, Washington. We run a kitchen. You can buy our stuff online. So the purpose of this show, this review show, is one, it's summer's coming, and if there's any other good chocolates out there that you can get locally so that you don't have to buy online and have us ship it to you and it melts on the way, we want to let you know about it. And second, we're interested in keeping our finger on the pulse of the industry and comparing ourselves against what else is out there on an ongoing basis. And I would say in general, we've showed pretty well against a lot of these chocolates that we've tasted.
Yes,
which stands to reason.
I
that
have
we
yet
would.
to taste a chocolate in this series that I thought made our chocolate pale in comparison. We've tasted some good stuff that we really loved. We've tasted some stuff that we didn't exactly love. But what we're trying to do is give a fair shake and an absolutely scrupulously straight up, constructive review about chocolates that you can get at whatever your local store might be, grocery store type chocolate. Because in the summer, it's tough to get the really good stuff shipped. And, not everybody wants to spend the money on the good stuff all the time. So we're trying to look for some more moderately priced. Today, we're going just a little bit away from that recipe. This is a chocolate that's not quite as supermarket level.
Although they are widely distributed.
They are widely distributed.
So we're going with Taza chocolate.
Now, Taza was a little bit of a forerunner in the bean to bar chocolate movement.
Absolutely.
They do so everybody has to hang their hat on something. Ours is the genetics of our bean and the cleanliness of the product. Taza hangs their hat on their processing, which is unique. It's a Mexican stone ground style.
Yep.
They're discs. They're always round, 2 discs per package. Very simple, effective packaging, and they have stuck to their strategy, which is a stone ground, which has a different texture. And they source their beans from various different places. I know the owner.
Yeah,
I've met him several times.
And I've heard him give speeches at industry conferences.
What was his name again?
Alex Whitmore.
Yeah.
And really cool guy.
Great guy.
A pioneer in this particular style of chocolate.
That's
in
right.
addition to doing direct trade with cacao farmers. And I met a lot of the people who worked for 2 organizations. Now, he had Taza Chocolate, and then he also had a company that sold cocoa beans, sold cacao to other bean-to-bar chocolate makers.
Right.
And the name of that company, I believe, was Maya Mountain Cacao.
No, Alex was not Maya Mountain.
No, Alex was one of the founders of Maya
Was he Maya Mountain?
Yeah,
okay,
I believe he was.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and they source cacao from Belize.
Yes.
So we're talking about.
I've been to their fermentery.
Yeah, he was one of the founders of that. So I believe that the cacao in this chocolate is made with Belizean and Mexican cocoa beans.
I know they get a lot of beans from Mexico.
Yep.
Okay, so the ingredients, by the way, today we're doing the darkest that we've done. This is an 85% dark from Taza Chocolate. It says super dark on it. You can see right there. As it should be, the ingredients are simply organic cacao beans and organic cane sugar. They don't even add any cocoa butter.
Yeah, and that's because of the stone ground texture.
That's right.
But in a chocolate with just those 2 ingredients, 2 simple ingredients, you got nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide.
The cacao has to be good, or the bar is going to be just inedible.
That's right. And this is organic, non-GMO, direct trade, gluten-free, vegan. I mean, this
My
is as
my understanding
clean
of
and pure as it can
my
get.
understanding on the non-GMO on chocolate is that chocolate can actually be
But
genetically
there
modified.
is no
So that
GMO.
would apply to the sugar that's being used, the non-GMO.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And so it's a very simple, it's just a paper
Yeah,
wrap with a stickered label on the
and
back
then
that
we
holds
both,
it together.
we both have Peruvian wives,
Hmm.
and this wheel format reminds me of the hot chocolate that you buy at the markets in
Right. So
Peru.
if you go to a market in Peru, you'll see discs of sort of crudely processed and molded chocolate, which is meant to be broken up, melted into water, and then add sugar and milk, frothed with a little it's like a stick,
Wand, like a
well, like a
hand wand.
wand with a little star-shaped wooden appendage on the end, and you take it between your hands and rub it like this, and it froths the chocolate. And so this is a very typical.
It looks like that.
Yeah,
that
and
shape.
so this sort of this is all about the Mexican style of
Yeah.
stone ground chocolate, and so it's a different texture. It's not nearly as
It's
processed.
beautiful, right? When you open that, and I like the packaging. I like the paper
You
packaging.
open up the paper and
And
you
the aroma comes
immediately
right
get
out.
the aroma,
Yeah.
and you can see the molding here.
Mhm.
This piece was broken.
Yeah.
The molding is relatively
cool.
thin.
Nice
It's got
wheel.
these divots so you can break stuff off, and it
Mhm.
says it's a little hard to see, but it says Taza on there. It's imprinted into the mold.
Yep. And then you got a sticker here,
Mm-hmm.
so you can open up the package. It's wheel shaped, so it fits back into the paper. You can easily reseal this,
Mm-hmm.
so it's good. And you don't have any weird foil or anything like that you have to negotiate.
So this, like I said, this is 85%. Now you can see the kind of grainy. I don't know if this is going to come
No,
through
it
in the
won't come
video.
through, but you could describe it.
Yeah, there's a grainier texture than what you normally see. It's not glossy, and that's because of the stone ground. It's not like a very fine particle. So it's going to melt on the tongue differently.
So we got an 85% cacao, or 85% cacao chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
just sugar and cocoa beans,
That's right.
and also stone ground. Now, because of this stone ground, what does that say about the conching or?
So I'm not, because stone ground chocolate is such a unique thing.
We're not really
I'm
familiar.
honestly not sure if they don't grind it as much or if they don't conch it as much. I'm really not sure.
Yeah.
Because conching is where you get it down to the particles. Normally, you would go from 40 to 60 nanos to down to below 20 in the conch. So I don't know if they grind less or conch less. Well, I gotta say, so this is almost pure cacao. Sweetened a little bit. If there was anything wrong with the ferment or dry on this cacao, you would know it instantly,
Yeah.
and there's nothing. The
So-
beans are impeccable.
The beans are perfectly well processed.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of chocolate made with cacao from Belize
Mm-hmm.
and from Mexico, and these are kind of typical of
Yeah.
what I would consider to be the flavor profile of that region.
Mm-hmm.
So Taza here, I think if you're looking for an 85%
Yeah.
dark chocolate, that's just cocoa beans and sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, we make an 84%. That's similar. You really can't do better than this. I don't think. I honestly, I don't think you're going to find a bar that's very much better than this.
For what the beans are, this is about the best expression of it that you can get.
And I would
Mhm.
venture to guess that in terms of even any product that's available on the market,
Yeah.
that is just a straight down the line 85%
Mhm.
cacao dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't think many other companies that use fine cacao, fine flavored cacao,
Right.
are making 85% dark chocolates that you could buy in the grocery store or that you could
Yeah.
find in your neighborhood.
I think this cacao, I believe, is probably not. It tastes like a blend to me. It's definitely not the criollo beans that you can
Yeah.
find in Mexico or Belize. It's not that. It's a mix of beans. I think there isn't a flavor note that you can say, oh, these beans are known for that. But what you can say is that they took the beans they had. They're very well fermented, very well dried, very well roasted, very well processed. There's almost no bitterness. And it's an 85. There's no bitterness, no astringency. This thing is impeccably processed.
I would say this is probably the exact thing. If you're a person who's going to the store to buy an 85%
That's right.
bar of chocolate, and you're not necessarily accustomed to
Yeah.
eating at a place like Fortunata Chocolate, where
Right.
we're trying to be meticulous about our ingredients, and
Mhm.
we're trying to produce confections that are really, really over the top delicious.
Mhm.
And you're just like, you know what? I need a high cacao percentage
Right.
dark chocolate for health reasons,
If you're diabetic,
or you
if
just
you're,
like the idea of eating
Right.
a really dark chocolate.
and you want something that's good, that's not going to be a bitter bomb going off
Mhm.
in your mouth, this is an absolutely spectacular
I
choice.
think this is a really good choice. It has
Mhm.
always been my experience with the Belizean cacao
Mhm.
that it's not it's not an over the top
Yeah,
delicious origin,
there aren't like
but it's a good origin. It's
it's
always been like a really nice
it's
blend
not
origin.
exploding with fruity
Uh-huh.
or floral
or
notes.
even nutty flavor.
There's some
There's
nuttiness
some nutty, but
there.
it's not
Yeah,
over the top nutty.
it's straight cacao. There's some nuttiness, but it's not over the top. There isn't a lot of fruit acid in this cacao. It's
No.
not. I wouldn't call this a high flavor cacao. What I would call this is a bar that has been impeccable. To me, I would guess that these beans are impeccably grown.
For sure.
The fermentation is impeccable. The dry is very clearly they're doing everything that you can do to a bean to make it
As
great.
good as it could be.
And I think the most important thing, honestly, on an 85% bar is the roast.
Good roast, not too dark.
They roasted it spot on.
Yep, right.
The roast is spot. It doesn't have any of that kind of ashy over roasted flavor, but it's also not under roasted and grassy.
Right down the middle.
Like boom, they hit it. I don't know their top temperature. I have an idea what the roast is, but I gotta say, like, if you want an 85% that has absolutely no off notes and is just a pleasure to put in your mouth and have the flavor, and as it's going on, I'm just continuing to love it.
It delivers.
Nothing bad comes on the tail end of this taste. It's a simple, straight expression of the place that it's produced and the production values that they bring to it. I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
You're a texture person. How do you like the stone ground texture?
The stone ground texture.
Be honest now.
Yeah, no, I would say honestly, I can get into it because it gives back a little bit more. So one of the things is that when you process all the way down to under 20 microns, you can sometimes it can feel a little waxy. It depends on the ingredients. By leaving right now, this never would anyhow because there's not that much cocoa butter because there isn't any added. But when you leave it stone ground like this, there's no chance of that happening. Now you have to be able to you need to be accept that you're going to look at the bar and it's not going to have the same gloss. The cocoa butter content is lower. It's not going to have the same kind of snap.
And, it crumbles a little bit.
It crumbles a little bit in your mouth. I personally don't mind the stone ground. I'm finding it quite enjoyable. One thing about the stone ground, I think it lends itself to a very high flavor, high percentage bar.
I was just gonna say that
because the particles aren't so fine. It doesn't necessarily assault your taste buds in the same way. It doesn't burrow as deep into the taste buds. It kind of stays on the surface, and that's a great place for this bar to be. I mean, that's a very well made.
And also, it adds to the experience.
Right.
It adds to this idea that, hey, look, I'm here to eat something fairly pure.
Yeah.
Minimal ingredients.
Yep.
We're going high cacao percentage.
Yes.
You've got the rough ground texture. It all kind of builds up and adds to this experience that you are looking for when you go out to buy a super dark chocolate.
That's right.
Now we have an 84%.
Yes.
Which is done completely differently.
It's done differently, and I'd put it right up against this. It's totally different.
But it's a whole different experience.
It's a whole different experience. They're both great.
They are, but I would imagine people love our 84%.
Yes.
But I would imagine that when you get it in your head, like, I'm going out to buy a really dark chocolate, this is what you're thinking about. To my mind, this is the thing that you have on your mind when you go out, and then it delivers.
Yeah, and I just have to say, like, these guys have been around for 20 years.
They've been around longer than us.
And there's a reason they've been around, and it's hard to stay alive for 20 years in the craft chocolate industry. The reason that they're around is because their stuff is good.
Yeah, and we know from meeting the Miami Mountain people, assuming that Alex Whitmore is involved in that, which I'm almost certain he is. They're also good people.
Yeah, by the way, I've been to their fermentory. I know the person who at that time was managing it, and it's a very well-run facility. It's a facility I would be happy to call my own. Everything's orderly. It's clean. Their processes are down. When you do things for a long time and you do them well, what you get are consistently positive results. And I've tried Taza before, but not in many years. And I'm very, very pleased to say that this is just as good as the Tazas that I tried probably over 10 years ago. Yeah. Like, I would unreservedly recommend it.
And behind the scenes, when we give a chocolate a bad review, we just throw it away. But this one,
we're
going to keep this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really am enjoying. I really did like it.
Yeah.
What did you think about Belize when you went there?
I've
never been to Belize.
I love Belize. I've been there 3 or 4 times. I've worked with Jacob Marlin, who is the
that's right. Jacob's in Belize.
Yeah, the president of the Heirloom Cacao Preservation Initiative, and I've helped him. I've consulted with him on him trying to bring a wild, non-domesticated Criollo population into a farming context so that he can make some stellar chocolate out of that, which he already has. And in support of his jungle reserve, which is there. Plus, I just love staying there, and Jacob's one of my favorite people. I've been to the Maya Mountain facility, which is down the road from there. I've also consulted with another company who are a big soursop and getting to be a big cacao growing concern in the northern part of Belize.
What's a soursop?
Soursop is a fruit.
Oh.
It's a different, yeah, they're going to be the world's #1 producer of soursop. Overall, I love Belize. I love the people. I love the food. I love the vibe. The jungle's great. The beach is great. And the cacao is great. And this cacao is grown by actual Mayans genetically. These are, and culturally, the Maya culture still very much survives
You're
in
talking
Belize.
about the Maya Mountain?
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole
Co-op?
the whole south of Belize. It's actual Mayan people that culturally and genetically are still a very, very distinct community. They speak Mayan languages.
They speak Mayan
oh,
languages.
absolutely.
Cool. Awesome.
And it's an absolutely stunning place to visit. And I think this chocolate proudly represents the beans that come from there.
Cool. All right, everybody. So Taza chocolate, 85% dark. If you see it at the grocery store or anywhere else where you happen to be out and about, this will deliver on what you are looking for.
It will.
From an 85% dark chocolate.
Yep.
Also, if you want to try out our chocolate,
speaking of deliver, if you buy online, we'll deliver the stuff to your house.
www.fortunatochocolate.com.
That's right.
You can judge. It would be interesting. It would be an interesting experiment to get an 85% Taza bar and put it up against our 84% nibs and sea salt bar.
And we're not objective, but we maybe should have done that. But we're not objective. But that is, yeah.
That's
maybe we'll do it off camera. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You could try out 2 different interpretations of high cacao percentage chocolate products.
That's correct.
So www.fortunatochocolate.com. If you ever want to meet me and Brian in person, would it be Brian and I or me and Brian? Me and Brian.
No, that's wrong.
Brian and I?
Brian and me.
Not me and Brian?
No, it would be me, but you typically lead with the other person.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay, so Brian and me?
That's how I think. But, on the other hand, what do I know?
Yeah, you don't know.
I know nothing
about cacao.
I'm not qualified at all.
About cacao, but that's about it.
Grammar is not my specialty.
All right, so me and Brian and me, if you ever want to meet the 2 of us in person, why not come check us out some Saturday morning when we work an order shift in our chocolate shop?
We'd love to see you there.
We'd love to see you in person. Brian, any parting words?
I just want to say thank you very much for listening. Smash that like button, subscribe if you like, and thank you so much for watching and listening.
Thank you. Have a great day.